October 5th, 2019, Calvin Castine, just off the Stetson Road in Chazy, New York, and we're here for an event that's being called Pound the Ground. It's an event where they're looking for artifacts. People who come from far and wide, hundreds of them. There could be as many as 1,000 that might show up today. They weren't quite sure. It's a Pound the Ground event. They're looking for artifacts that they will share with the community, with their metal detectors and so on. We're going to get a little closer and see if we can find out more about what is going on here today. So stick around. Right now they're drawing numbers. I guess the people coming in each got a ticket. People are moving their metal detectors over this way. You can see there are unprecedented amount of folks here on this farmland. Keep our camera rolling, and if we find a familiar face. I know the Clinton County Historical Association is supposed to be here, and they're supposed to have a tent set up, so we can find them. They might be able to fill us in on the details of this very interesting event here.
Hey, Jeff, you know that guy? He's the shirtless detective. Yeah. Wasn't that you naked? Wasn't that you that's crying?
You guys can figure that out. You guys will figure it out. And so, thank you very much. And these guys are going to be out in the field, so make sure you say hello. They've got check your schedule. These guys are going to be doing a meet and greet. A picture in front of this awesome banner that Kelly Cole, Relics Radio, and Pound the Ground. And you can see it over there in their booth. If you guys want a picture with these guys, you can get them. And they are going to give away some. You guys want to tell them what you guys are doing?
All right. Hey, another thing, if you guys haven't heard of our NX5 shovels, we're giving a brand new one of those away too. Actually, Rusty Curry at Garrett over here, he forgot his shovel this trip. So it's actually got 40 dig boys. Almost new. Yeah, Rusty. But it's guaranteed to find nectar because
So I'm going to
Rusty actually
continue to keep the camera rolling so you can get an impact of what we're looking at here. This is a two-day event, Saturday the 5th and Sunday the 6th.
Gary Blackwell's first trip here, and can we give this guy a warm welcome? So Gary is going to give away a full day in.
All right, we finally located the Clinton County Historical Association booth, and we have found who?
Helen Nurska, I'm the director.
And
Julie Dowd.
Julie Dowd here.
Yeah.
She's posting on Facebook right now.
She is. Yes, what we're hoping to do is to take pictures and document finds. If people want to donate them to us, that's fine, but we basically would like to just document what they find.
What they locate.
And yes, and that's what we've been set up to do, and we'll share it with the local group of metal detectors and the organizer, Peter Sorrell. So that's sort of a win-win for all of us.
He's from Lion Mountain area, Peter Sorrell?
Yes, but he's the town historian for Altona.
Oh.
He's an Altona boy, actually, born and bred. But he currently does live in Lion Mountain, but he's the Altona historian.
Okay, so why this field?
I'm not sure, but I think the farmers started out to be very generous, I think there may be some kind of a compensation. I'm not sure, but I was told 1,200 acres have been made available. But Peter Sorrell definitely is the person to talk to.
Okay, it's I believe Lance Rovers is the owner of this property at the moment.
Apparently, yeah.
All right.
It's a
So,
wonderful property. Look at this.
yes.
Oh,
Well, Rovers.
people have started digging on the perimeters right here. You know, I saw someone digging over by that truck, by the outhouses. You know, so these are powerful machines they have. you
Yes.
know. Yeah.
And any idea how far and wide they've come from?
We've met here people from.
Come on over, Julie.
Colo-
Come on over.
Color-
Julie's never at a loss for words.
Listen, yesterday at the museum we had people from Florida who came up just for this event. I can't believe it. We had a guy from Colorado this morning and a lot from New England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they're not going to be too disappointed. I mean,
I doubt it. They're going to find something, and they're all enthusiastic, and they all, are they obviously have done this before, and they know that sometimes you find things, and sometimes maybe you don't.
do you know if they'll be going near Suckertown at all?
Yeah, they are. Do you want to see the map?
Yes, please. Suckertown has been an interest to me, and it was heavily populated for a while, relatively speaking.
Yeah,
So that's where the
we're
Suckertown.
right here.
We're here. Okay, so they're going way back here.
Yeah,
they're going all
going
over
up and over to the lake down this road. Yeah,
here. Okay, so Suckertown would be this little part by the
number 7 maybe, number 6 and 7.
6. Yeah, I would guess 6. Yeah. So that'd be an interesting area to see what they find there, because there were quite a few little homesteads there,
Houses, yeah.
relatively speaking.
Yeah.
There's not much of anything left there at the moment.
Yeah, I'd be going down there if I was doing this. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So that's where people lived. It's not like they're just tending the fields.
Yeah, we have a lot of the scales collection at the museum, so they're bound to find all kinds of arrowheads and stuff up and down there.
Oh, by the river, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they've got quite a few. You said 1,200 acres, Ellen?
That was my understanding.
Wow. So how did this all start?
Again, you should talk with.
Well, do you think Peter is going to be available today?
Oh yes, he's got lots of energy. Oh, that's the start, so everybody's off.
And they're off.
Yeah.
This is like the Oklahoma land rush here.
Do you know which one Peter is?
No, I don't.
Okay, he's the one that's got his hat on and hand up. He's standing down. That's Peter.
Okay.
I can bring you up and introduce you.
Well,
Want me to
do that.
Okay, let's
All
go.
right. We'll leave you in charge, Julie. We're trying to get to Peter Sorrell, but we got the next best thing. We've got his mother. What's your name?
Carlene Misak,
All right, Colleen, where are you from?
Moore's Forks.
Morris Forks. Any relation to Jim Misak?
Yep, he was my husband's grandfather.
All right. That's which Jim Misak now? Old Jim the sawmill or
The sawmill.
sawmill?
Yep.
Old Jim, oh, so you're
Yeah.
related to Jimmy Misak. That's good. That's good going right there. 'Cause he's one of a kind fellow.
He was. Every Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's what we put on. So your son Peter got involved, and this is your first time? I can't
This
believe.
is my first time actually using a metal detector. My son Peter was gracious enough to let me borrow his and gave me a tutorial this morning to show me how to start it. I'm not sure I'm going to find anything, but it's going to be a great day for everybody. I mean, it's a beautiful day, beautiful North Country day. I think some of the people weren't quite ready for what we get in the North Country, but this is the one place you get all 4 seasons in one day sometimes.
Yes, yeah. So we had to. Well, I looked at my outside thermometer at 7 o'clock, and it was 35 degrees. And I know people were starting to show up here around 7. So were you here at 7?
I wasn't here at 7. It was still a little frosty. I was still trying to thaw out my car. I showed up shortly after, and I got special parking, which was kind of cool.
Well, that's nice.
And then my son, like I said, he brought me out and got me his machine and stuff and gave me a tutorial on it. And I've been walking around, and there's so many vendors here. It's amazing to see all the people that showed up. I mean, when you think of people in this country and then the people that have come from Canada and out of the country, it's amazing. This is just a great event.
Yeah, I just hope that they find some worthwhile stuff that they'll enjoy finding. And
These are the people that find it, because this is what they do. This is a great hobby. I mean, it's history, and this is what people love about it, is that they're finding our history.
Okay, so what story were they told to get him here today? Do you know?
I think what happened was we were talking about the War of 1812. The Battle of Plattsburgh. I mean, those are really interesting things. And to think that farmland. I mean, very seldom are there people out here metal detecting on farmland. I mean, most of the time there's crops on it, and more people like Peter has been really good about going out and getting permissions from different people, and so he's really navigated the North Country a lot. And the more he talked to people, and he spoke with Lance here, and Lance told him, he's like, hey, I'd be interested. I've got like thousands of acres of property. I mean, at the time, he had thousands of acres that could have been, navigated, but our weather wasn't quite cooperative this spring, so the crops aren't quite all off yet. But he's been working hard to get all these crops off so that people would have a good range of places to get out there and metal detect.
You don't want them to run through your soybean fields or your corn fields.
No, any farmer, and I'm a farmer, and I know, it's kind of tough for something like that to happen. But I mean, I think these people are very respectful of the farmer, and they're just excited to be out here today to do what they're doing.
Yeah, it's. I think in talking to Bob Cheeseman, the historian here in Chazy, that the Stetson Road was probably one of the routes that they took on their way from Champlain to Plattsburgh to fight the Battle of Plattsburgh. So
there's bound to be a lot of relics, buttons, military buttons. People are really would like to find something like that. That's kind of cool. Spoons and it's not necessarily coins and money. It's all the other things that people carried through here that they're going to find in the ground today.
Yeah, chances are the foot soldiers coming through here didn't have a lot of coins in their dollars in their pockets.
Correct. And so they're more likely to find that button. But that's very important for people to say, hey, I was in this spot where these soldiers went through.
And if they've been there since 1814, it's a lot of years that they've been sitting in the ground.
That's a lot of years in the ground. These grounds, I mean, they're turned over, but they're never moved. So,
right.
Whether it's, chances are if it's in there, it's not that deep.
Right.
So just, it'll be great to see what they come up with today. I want to be here when, everybody shows up with their finds for the day.
Take a look behind you here. Look
wow.
Going through
that's just amazing. And it's kind of like rows.
That's incredible.
You see some people already stopping and digging, so you know that they've already found something. They've got in a signal of something in the ground. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anything else you want to tell us?
If you're local, tomorrow is a seeded hunt. They've got $50,000 worth of coins, gold nuggets, gold coins in the ground. Come on out, buy a ticket, join in the fun. Metal detecting is a great hobby. I think, more people, this is a great exposure for the hobby. More people should get outside and do something like this. This isn't, you're not behind a computer, you're not on a tablet, you're not looking at your phone, you're looking at the ground, you're listening through headphones. It's great. Enjoy some fresh air.
Yeah, we're very lucky today. We had some rain a couple of days ago. We got some rain come tomorrow.
But it's a beautiful day today.
Late tomorrow, I think.
So if they can get through today and early tomorrow, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of great finds out here. It's amazing. It's very quiet out there. These people are listening for beeps.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Calvin.
Okay, we're going to talk to the instigator now, Peter Sorrell.
I don't know if I'm an instigator, but I certainly put this thing together for sure. So,
is it looking like you thought it would look or hoped it would look?
I can tell you one thing: I did not imagine we would ever get to 1,000 people out here on these fields, and as you can see out there, they're just. We had
every direction.
Every direction. They are out there looking for treasures, new and old, I guess. And so, yeah, I never thought we'd be at this point where we had this many people out here on these fields, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
So, how did you tie in with Lance to get the use of this property?
So, I mean, metal detecting permissions are fairly easy to come by as long as you're friendly and nice and tell them what you do. And if you enjoy metal detecting, you can show your passion. And Lance is your typical farmer. He's a great guy. All I did was go up and say, hey, this is my hobby. I'd love to get on your fields. He says, sure, if the crop's not on, have at it. So that's how I started.
Did he know you were talking to 1,000 people?
Yeah, I made sure that he knew this. I've had the permission for a couple of years, but Lance knew that I told him we would like to hold an event on his land, and he said, okay, I think we could do that. And we paid him for his services. We really appreciate everything he's done for us. And so, yeah, that's how we got it.
All right. Have you done any advanced scouting over by Suckertown? That's a place I think I'd like to.
That's a pretty important. That's a pretty hot spot. Yeah, a lot of people have. They've already. If you'll notice, there's a lot of people in that direction, and what they did is they've done their research. That's what they did, and those people doing their research know that there's interesting things over there. So there was a nice little settlement over in that area. There used to be a road that come across that is no longer there. Disappeared sometime in the 40s. So it's very cool because people do. These are very smart people, and they do their research.
So before they came here, they were Googling or whatever else.
They were looking at the old maps. Yep, that's exactly what I do too. So.
So is this a club? How do you reach all these people?
So I met. This has been put on by myself and. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, you may have to break away here if you can find his phone.
I met this past year. I attended an event in Rhode Island with the folks from Rhode Island Relics, and it was a seeded hunt where they put things in the ground and you go and look for them. And I met the owner of Rhode Island Relics, who was Nathan Matthews, and at his event we said hello. Those were the only two words we shared, and then I must have left some sort of an impression because probably a month later, he said, I got this crazy idea. Do you think maybe you can help me with this? And I said, we'll give it a shot. And so we've got all the crew from Rhode Island Relics here and myself, and we've got some great volunteers, including some members of my family and friends, and it's we've had a great turnout so far, and it's looking pretty good for the day.
All right, you've got reenactors. They'll reenact 2 o'clock this afternoon, I think your mother said?
Yep, we've got the War of 1812 reenactors out there. We got British and American. They set up a little camp out there. They fired the cannon off to start the event, which was very cool. And yeah, they're going to be doing a skirmish out there, so that's going to be neat. We really wanted to tie in the local history so people could kind of see what they would be looking for out here. And I think that's a great thing to have.
Okay, yeah, because as I was telling you, either Helen Nursko or your mother, that according to Bob Cheeseman, the Stetson Road is one of the roads that they probably marched down from Champlain to get to the Battle of Plattsburgh. So.
It's a very historic area, and that's why we chose this property, because there's so much land, and it's got a lot of history to it. Not only residential history, but military history. During the War of 1812, there were troops running up and down this corridor for over 2 years until the Battle of Plattsburgh. So a lot of good history here.
All right, we'll let you get to your phone and other things because I know you're busy.
No problem.
I've got to head to Peru, but I'll be back this afternoon.
All right, thank you, sir.
Nice meeting you, Peter. All right, Peter Sorrell here at the big ground thumping here. They're having here a lot of vendors here, and people are still arriving. And I'd be very anxious to find out what they find when they get to Suckertown, because that's this place that we've been interested in for a long time. We're back on this Saturday afternoon, August 5th, and it's about 4:15 p.m. Folks are still going strong here. About 9:30 is when they first grabbed their metal detectors and headed out into the fields, and here we are, let's see, about 7 hours later, and they're still going strong. We're going to try to find the ladies at the Historical Association booth to see if they've come across anything exciting.
If they ask you how this happened, say I forced you into this. So watch the last tale last.
We're at the booth where the Historical Association is, and some people have dropped off their goodies. Who would believe there'd be a few horseshoes out there? This is some of the stuff that was found out there that the people have turned in. I was going to tell them I found this Canadian penny out there, but they may not believe me, so there we go. I found this in my pocket. But folks travel a long way, and this is how they enjoy spending their time. They had the reenactors that were here earlier. That was a couple hours ago that they did the reenactment. I hope that was entertaining for everyone here. It's certainly a part of the history of the Stetson Road. But there's still people out there. It's going to be going on all day on Sunday also. We were hoping we'd be able to talk to the ladies at the booth here, but Julie Dowd is busy writing stuff down, and Helen Nuska is busy chronicling everybody's finds. The line at the Clinton County Historical Association booth doesn't seem to be getting any shorter, so we're probably going to move on, call it a day. I've got a soccer game to cover in about an hour and a half, but you have to admire the dedication of Helen and Julie Dowd. Helen Nuska and Julie Dowd have been here all day doing their part to preserve the history of Clinton County, and they don't just stand in that museum, and they're out here in the field and doing their part to make sure this history is preserved and encouraging other people to do this kind of event. So like I said, the line continues to grow here as more and more people will be coming in from the field. And personally, I'm quite anxious to find out what kind of stuff was found in and around Suckertown. If you don't know what Suckertown is, stop into the Chazy historian's office, talk to Bob Cheeseman. He's got lots of pictures there, and it was an interesting small little community along the little Chazy River here that runs across the Stetson Road. So we're going to wrap up our October 5th look at this historic event. Not only are they searching for history, they are creating history, because it's probably been since 1814 that this many people have wandered through these fields.
Sacrificing the style you want. The Home Depot has Pergo Outlast Plus laminate starting at just $2.79 a square foot with 22 designer